Hello, everyone, and welcome to the SubPar Poddy C episode number 67. How are we doing? It's officially...
Unofficially.
Very nice. The best podcast on the internet. And we are here, joined by the literal, actual ApparentlyJack, who we figured out, just before we started recording, is 10 years younger than Cole.
Jesus.
Who are you trying to make uncomfortable by saying that, out of interest? Because I feel more awkward, I think, than Jack does at hearing that. I'm 28 now.
Fuck me, you're 28 now.
I have finally hit my mid-20s. One more year, I'm in my late 20s.
No. I had this argument the other day with my mate, Jack. When does late 20s start?
26.
Oh,
26? Oh, fuck
go
off. Because
away.
then I'm late 20s. That's not fair.
No, I guess because mid-20s would be 24 to 27, so I guess it would be 28. No, it would be 20, somewhere between 27 and 28.
My argument is...
So then you round it up.
It's the 3-4-3 rule. It's the 20, 21, 22, that's your early. 23, 24, 25, 26 is your mid. 27, 28, 29 is your late.
Fair, I've not thought about it too much. I don't really have to.
This is what we talk about now that we are having to come to the realization that we might be in our late 20s.
While putting on regain and getting sort of like fake teeth and all that stuff that we old people do.
Exactly.
But you guys got it a little bit wrong. It's early 20s until 27. Then mid-20s is 28 to 29. And then late 20s is 30 to 35. Then you're in your 30s.
You're sad, mate. I'm so sorry. This episode, as ever, is brought to you all by rocket-league.com. If you guys want to trade literally anything, you can do it on that website. So make sure that you go to rocket-league.com. They are our sponsor. There's loads of giveaways. There are loads of tradings on there. Feel free to go over and visit and make sure that you let them know that you've come via the SubPar Poddy C. But otherwise, we're going to be chatting to Jack. And Jack, I have been on our streams... I'm not going to say fanboying. I'm not going to say that I have been literally watching every video for the last 4 or 5 months of yours. I'm not going to say that I've been following, your journey in your 1v1 to get the top spot and then smashing the record. But Jesus Christ, I have been wanting pros to do more YouTube for a very long time. And it seems like you've transitioned into it, not necessarily all of a sudden, but like there's been a massive push in the last 4 or 5 months especially.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I mean... It's enjoyable, and that's the main thing, right? So I wanted to start for literally since I started getting into the pro scene, which was just after the Fusion tournament that Johnny Boy hosted last year. I wanted to start YouTube. I was telling my stream every day I'm going to start it, and it was like 4 months down the line where I still hadn't started it, and I finally did it, and yeah, I don't regret it at all.
We've been there with YouTube many times where it's like, right, we're about to start this video, and then suddenly you look and the seasons outside have changed and everything is different. But I think I need to thank you for your videos more than Stumpy does, because for the first time in my career, I am being consistently carried in Rocket League games by my streaming partner. So like, Stumpy is objectively better than me at the moment. I'm like, oh, this is great. He's so much better. So thank you for that, Jack.
You're going to have to start watching the videos, man.
You do.
I know.
I've
started recently, and I love the fact, straight into it. No faff at the beginning, no talking, no thanking your knobhead subs.
What I like is it's the Sunless Khan formula, Cole. As we were told a couple of years ago, the Sunless Khan formula of... And Jack, I don't know if this has been a specific effort by your editor, Caleb, as I learned by tweeting, just saying he's really funny because he's just great. The formula that Sunless Khan let us in on was that you do a cinematic intro, a load of cool looking stuff and like panning over and like all the color correction, and then you go into just normal gameplay, right? If you look at every Sunless Khan video, that's all he does, and people think he's got high production value. But it's high production value for 30 seconds, and then it's just gameplay. Yeah,
I mean that's all down to my editor. He as soon as I kind of started working with him, he started doing the cinematic stuff at the start. And yeah, that's all him. All credit to him. I'm not really good at kind of that sort of stuff. I'm still trying to like get into the kind of the creative side and like working out what's good and not. But yeah, power to him. He's doing a really good job with that.
It's a great team because you've got obviously the Rocket League skills, but also the analytical brain naturally. I mean, I have certainly watched a few of your videos in recent times because Stumpy has been drumming it into me that I have to watch these videos. And one of the ones I really wanted to watch was I had watched before and not really put my mind to it, was the speed flip tutorial. I've been trying to do that, for so long, and I'm like,
This has
I've
been a very
broken it
long
down.
time.
I've seen
Honestly,
it on stream.
have you actually? Have you had a look?
Yeah. I mean, I saw it.
so
I saw the
close.
title. So I had to click on it for like 30 seconds.
And you probably thought,
Not
I can't
bad.
do this anymore. I've got to go. It's too frustrating to watch.
That's great. I saw you like copying kind of the video, like flipping around. It's like,
Yeah, what I've found is when you go onto the speed flip training pack, you know, you can sort of restart instantly and it zooms your car back. So what I
Yeah.
do is at the start, I just do the angle dodge and then restart it over and over again. Then I add the cancel, etc. So it's like your video in free play, except in the training pack.
Oh,
And
yeah,
it sort
okay.
of really gets the muscle memory going. So
Yeah,
would
exactly.
recommend for anyone struggling. But I'm like, I just know that it's that final little realization and I'll be able to do it and I'll feel like a boss.
Someone asked me the other day if I was going to learn how to speed flip, and it was an instant no. I don't feel like I need to, because if Cole gets it down, then that's 1 out of 2, and that's basically a 50% success rate for me.
Exactly.
so at that point, I don't need to waste my time doing that. I'll learn by osmosis, thank you very much. I'm okay doing that one.
Is that what Dignitas conversations are like? Like, do you know what? Scrub can do the flip reset, so
Yeah,
I'll worry
I
about the wave
can't
dashing.
Yeah, exactly.
But I mean, that is going to be a big conversation a little bit later on about Scrub, him being picked up to join Dignitas, because that is one that made my jaw hit the floor. I was shocked to see it. I'm very excited to see it. But before then, just continuing on with the kind of like the ones in the YouTube, there's been, I think, a lot of the push that I've seen from you and also Virtuoso on Twitter as well, to be honest, is saying that pros need to make content as much as they possibly can. Like, if you're able to make content, then you should be. I've been pushing that for a very long time as well, and it's nice to basically hear somebody who's got more authority with the pros to like say that too, rather than me just sort of moaning at them to say, entertain me. Come on, give more content. But why is it so big, do you think, that you think pros should be putting time into content creation?
I mean, Rocket League is like genuinely the best game in terms of just gameplay. Like, it's perfect. There's no like luck involved. It should be the biggest game in the world, and I stand by that. And the reason it isn't as big as it can be is because there's such a big gap between the casual fan base and the kind of pro fan base in esports. Whereas if you look like at games like Fortnite is the best example, the bridge between casual fan base and people who watch pros is really short. Like there's kind of no discrepancy between the two. Whereas with Rocket League, you know, all the casual players, you know, Musty's the best player in the world and Sunless Khan's their second favourite player, you know. And then you look at the pro scene and it's completely different for the fans in there. So if you get the content going, it allows for more personality to be shown. Especially with no lands at the moment, it's very difficult to kind of understand who the players actually are and what's kind of behind the screen. Without lands, you're not going to, and that's such a big like factor for getting to know your favorite player, and you need to do that with content. And it just helps. Like if there's more eyes on the game, you know, it's going to get pushed out further, which is good for everyone.
I mean, I know I'm beating the company drum here, but I know that Psyonix have worked so hard throughout RLCSX to make sure that as much player personality has been put to the front as possible. They really have stepped up that game.
The player cams then with like even between weeks, like then adding names on and then like taking them away than they need to be. Just like you say, Carl, that learning of like
the interviews,
putting a
stuff
card
as well.
to a player.
Yeah, exactly. The interviews and stuff as well have been great, but I completely agree with you that so much of that does fall onto the players themselves to make sure they're putting themselves out there for the sake of the esport, but also for their own sake as well, right? I mean, often players will begin to fall down from the top, and they will always have streaming and they will always have YouTube if they've been putting that work in. So it's definitely a way to further your career. And I mean, you're gaining so many life skills as well from the fact that you are, you know, sticking to this regime of recording videos and putting content out, and you're learning so much that if one day Rocket League is no longer what you do professionally, those skills are still there.
Exactly, yes. It's all transferable skills at the end of the day, and not everyone can do it straight away. I mean, if you look at my first stream or my first video, oh my god, I think I haven't even gone back and watched it because I know I'll just cringe. I was just like dead voice, just kind of just didn't sound like I want to be there. And in some videos, you know, you have like a day where you really can't bother to record or something, and you're going to sound like that anyway. But most videos now, it's a lot more, you know, energetic. And So not everyone can do it well straight away. I couldn't, but you learn quickly, and yeah, definitely transferable skills are really important in this.
Even on our side, like you go back and watch, say, the first like voiceover that like I did, which is relatively recent in fairness, but like compared that then to ones that we did then for the like championship week, there's that kind of the getting used to what you need to do. Going back to Cole's first voiceovers in like 2015.
I knew you'd bring that up.
No, because it's going to be a compliment, you little tart. Right?
Okay, sorry.
Okay, thank you very much.
Sorry, mate.
Going back to Cole's awful, pathetic, droll, dry, uninspired voiceovers with terrible words. And then now, you know, it flows. But yeah, it's...
Cheers.
Yeah, it's all right, mate. It's one of those things where I think North America is definitely ahead of the game as well, because I know a lot more. And we're streaming this live as well for people who don't know, and we're seeing people in chat saying that a lot more North American pros have got a lot more content, and they do, and it's all brilliant content as well. It's stuff that I adore seeing. I think in the European scene, there are there's a lot more of like the content creators that will stream and get the higher numbers, but then they could quite easily be usurped by pros such as yourself, Jack, such as, say, Joreuz, for example, if he was to stream. Scrub obviously gets thousands of viewers when he's live as well. So I think there's definitely a lot that you can learn from NA in that regard too.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, NA's always been ahead in terms of content. It's just because there's more NA viewers, I assume, and it's just easier because they're all English speaking. Whereas with EU, you've got so many different languages and barriers. Kind of, it's difficult to get a wider view audience. And yeah, it's the place to be if you want to do well in content, definitely. But it doesn't mean that EU pros can't do it. Yeah, exactly.
Sponsorships is so big. Like you saw, like even when we look at the RLCSX events for NA that were sponsored, the Lamborghini Open, the Ford F-150 stuff, things like that, then compare it to EU, that's not anything against Psyonix whatsoever. It's just to do with the companies that want to sponsor events. It's the NA side of things that are just more profitable.
Are there any players where you sort of, obviously you chat with these players a lot, and you just know they would be incredible streamers or brilliant YouTubers, and you're just there thinking, why don't you do this? Because, you know, I cast, or not at the moment because the season's over, but I cast a lot of these players, you know,
and we're fired
week in, week out, and we're fired for next season. I forgot about that. I keep forgetting about that.
I know.
But there are still so many that are, to me, a car on a pitch, especially with no lands at the moment. So is there anyone that you think of that you just know has that personality and isn't using it, that you want to sort of call out and say, hey, make some content?
Joreuz is really funny. Joreuz is, because me and Joreuz have kind of almost grown up together in this game. Like we've known each other for probably like 3 years at this point. And we were always playing together, always talking. Yeah, literally. We're always talking together. So he's kind of got my humour. And he also sounds quite British since he's talked to me so much.
He's got such a deep voice too.
Yeah, he does, yeah. But yeah, he would do great. He's got the perfect play style and gameplay for doing well in Twitch and YouTube. And he's also really funny. He's got British humour where it's like deadpan. It's quite funny. So yeah, he'd do great. And I've always said to him, you know, you do really well on YouTube, you should start. And he's like, oh yeah, I'll probably start here. Like he might say that, and then other times he'll be like, nah, I'm happy with what I'm doing. And if he's happy, then leave him be. But all of the, to be honest, all the BDS guys, like they could do so well on YouTube, man.
Monkey Moon's brilliant on Twitter. He is so outspoken and witty and funny, and just prods that perfect amount as well.
Yeah, and it's not even like, I don't really speak to them that much, so I don't know their personalities. I know they're all nice people, especially Extra, but I don't know their like proper personalities. It's just the fact that they're literally on the best team in Europe, if not the world. If they just went onto YouTube, they'd do so well.
Didn't you at them the other day, like telling them to make content or something? I think that was
Extra tweeted, and I just replied to him like saying, "Mate, you're on the best team in Europe. I don't know, like you could literally just put a video out of you playing twos and 20,000 people easly would watch it."
Yeah, so, big time. I'd be instantly watching that. Like, yeah. I interviewed Extra as part of like the final week of the when it was them versus, who was he playing against? It was somebody else who was really nice. It wasn't Flame because that was with K-Dop. Who else was it? Oh, it was VK Salem. So I interviewed VK Salem and Extra. I had no idea how cheeky Extra is. He was he was instantly just being such like a cheeky lad and just like saying like jokes and like being just really. He was really funny. He was really sweet, but also just like chucking out really funny jokes. And like, firstly, in his second language, which I will always admire literally everyone for doing. And yeah, just instantly just making jokes. I think it's brilliant. Yeah, I'd love to see any of those guys make content because Vitality. Like, you've got K-Dub, obviously, one of the biggest French streamers, not even in Rocket League, just one of the biggest French streamers. And Fairy Pig has also started streaming. He gets, like, 3,000 viewers or something ridiculous in French as well. But then every now and then, when he starts a new, like, sort of section of the stream, or, like, if he's kind of reviewing a replay, he'll analyze it in French for one sentence, then say that again in English. And, like, do that for, like... a lot of the analysis and just like it's amazing. Does
one human's brain have that many levels to it? Because this is one of the drums that Stumpy's been beating about your content, Jack, that while chatting and I say chatting, that maybe is a bit derogatory, while speaking very eloquently to the camera, you are also playing at the very top level of ones or twos, while also remembering how many seconds there are until that boost spawns.
Oh, the boost
yeah, the amount of time Stumpy said, "Oh, Jack, want to know that spawn in there."
The boost grab, like, counter in your mind. Whenever I hear you say, this is about to spawn, and it just does.
Is that subconscious?
Just the dopamine hit in my brain is just there.
Yeah, it's 1v1 is so, like, I've got it ingrained in me now where I kind of know just almost everything to do with the game mode since I've played it so much. It's subconscious, like, you just kind of know the rotations where this guy was there about 6 seconds ago and he probably picked it up about 3 seconds ago. So if I get here at this time, it'll take me this long to get back here. It's kind of just that you just put it together and you don't purposely train that. It just happens when you kind of go through the ranks, I guess.
I tried to do it once after I checked out one of your videos when somebody was talking about it so much. And basically what I did was I kept an eye on one boost at a time. So instead of all 6 of the main boosts, I was like, all right, that one, I know when that's spawning. And obviously by the time I actually spawned, it was at the other end of the pitch. So I subconsciously gave up because the player would inevitably move on away from the one that I'd tracked.
I remember, actually, the reason I started doing it, because I watched Squishy like everyone did back in the day. And he said in one of his videos, like, you always want to check the timer. As soon as you pick up a big boost pad, you want to look at the timer. And it takes 10 seconds to spawn, so I always, back in like Champ 1, I'd pick up the boost and then look at the timer, and I realised it would spawn in 10 seconds, so I got back there, and it does help to train it that way.
I've definitely done it off kickoffs, where like I know, say we scored a goal, there's 4 minutes 13 left, and then I know that then the side boosts are roughly going to spawn at like 4 minutes or so, because then you've got like the 3-second kickoff, then 10 seconds post, so like roughly it will be about 13 seconds until then the corners spawn as well if there's people on diagonals or whatever. But yeah, it's something that's always blown my mind. But there's a lot of those transferable skills, right, that then go into from 1v1 into the 3v3 game, because I was looking at your at the history of you in 3v3, and I think the first time that I really was aware of you as a pro was on Stormtroopers. When and then being picked up by Dignitas I remember that being a pickup of like, okay, I'm intrigued to see what Dignitas are thinking, picking up in my mind, a relative newcomer to this very high level. What's the plan going to be for them? But signing to Dignitas, like that to me sounds like a dream come true for like any pro.
Yeah, it was definitely a little bit weird. Just got the message from Panda. I was like, okay. But yeah, I mean,
is this a scam?
It will happen very quickly, because obviously I kind of, my story as like a pro is very different to everyone else's. I kind of just rose up very quickly. I never played competitive Rocket League, wasn't interested in it. I was always really good at the game on PS4, and then I went to, like, I just played one tournament. I never played tournaments. I played one tournament with Joreuz and our friend. We went to LAN. And my dad just really enjoyed it and was like, let's get a PC. And I was
what
like,
LAN was that?
It was a Rocket Baguette. It was called Supernova. It was the Rising Stars LAN, and it was me, Joreuz, and a player called Anya on PS4. Me and Anya were rank B in six mans, and Joreuz were like rank A or something.
Let's go.
He was the only one on PC. He just moved like 4 months ago or something, and we were playing against Nordvind, which had like Sebadam in them, and then Team Exalti, which at the time had Carrion, Eversax and Zephyr, and Zephyr and Carrion were RLS. And then it had what the team name? Team Vertex, which was Rizex, Coca, and Domain, who were in RLS at the time. So we came third out of the 4 teams.
Wow.
And yeah, I mean, it was really good. My dad enjoyed it, and he was like, "Let's get a PC."
When somebody
And
says "wow,"
it
he's
kinda
actually
went from there.
thinking like, "Wow, 3rd place. That's really good."
I was, mate. I was. Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's huge. Because like coming up against, like you said, your first tournament. Were you playing on PC at the tournament, or were you on?
We were playing on PC, yeah. So it's like we thought, yeah, we'd get there. We like Rocket Brigade did a really good job. The only wish was that they let us practice beforehand, which they didn't. We got there, which probably wasn't their fault, to be fair. We got there, and it was like, "You're up, mate. You're going to play." I was like, "I've not played I was traveling yesterday. I've not played today as well, and it's my first time on computers." 240 hertz monitors.
Oh my god!
You know, so after the first series, me and Anya, who was the other PS4 player on our team, we were like, "Yeah, let's whack that down to 60 FPS because that's what we're used to." So we played the rest of the tournament on 60 FPS on 240 hertz monitors.
Cole, are you thinking back to when we played? Yeah, go on.
Our friend Digdog, who now works for Psyonix,
Yeah.
when Rocket League first came out, he was a PS4 player, and eventually we all moved to PC, and he'd have to sort of like come into like private games. This is long before proper cross-platform play, and finally he got a PC and started playing on that. And I think he played on the PC for like a week, and then the next week we're like, "Hey, do you want to come play some games with us?" He's like, "No, I moved back to PS4. It was too smooth for me." I think he uses camera shake still as well, actually.
Yeah, he uses
might have
camera
changed that
shake,
by
and he
now.
said that it was too smooth for him. At 60 FPS, it was too smooth for him, and he went back to his PS4 to play it at 30. He was like,
So you're not alone.
Too many
That's
frames.
so funny.
God, so
yeah.
you played for the first time. Was that the first time you'd also met Joreuz as well? I presume. Like?
Yeah. That's the first and only time I met Joreuz. And yeah, so going back to the Dignitas thing, so obviously I got a PC and started looking for a team, and I had to improve because I always had the potential and talent. Like on PS4, I got to like top 4 in the world in ones, even on PC. Like, you know, playing against those players, and I was like top 10 in threes, although it was ranked. I wasn't that good at like competitive threes, so I had to learn that really quickly. I was literally, no words of a lie, people were calling me crazy, but it paid off. I was scrimming 5 times a day to try and find a team. That's 5 hours a day of scrims and tryouts, and then I found a team. I was improving like drastically, and I found a team with Dead Monster and Polar. We started playing tournaments and somehow did really well. And yeah, I just can't join Dig.
So when was
weird?
You're basically that kid that revises the night before the exam, and just everyone knows is going to get A stars. Like, "Oh yeah, Jack's got A stars."
I'm so angry that at the end of that sentence it was, and then I joined Dig.
Exactly, right? Like instead of taking you out through 6 man slowly over the course of time, you were like, "Oh yeah, shit, I've started playing tournaments. Quick, better do 5 scrims a day to catch up."
I had a DM from the 2-time world champion. He
It
said,
was weird. It was
"Fancy
just
it?"
like that, though. Yeah, it was literally weird. Like, yeah, and then
Did you have any idea?
So
Like,
we
had you
signed
been chatting with
Ricks
him
and then we
beforehand
did-
or anything with Dignitas and Violent Panda?
Well, I'm trying to think what I could say here. No.
Obviously, yeah. We're not trying to find any links to anything.
Whatever. Like, I got messaged by Panda, and I'm not going to say when, but he was like, we might be thinking of a change, and you'd be one of our kind of main tryouts that we'd want to, give a shot. So I was like, yeah, definitely. So I tried out, and it just happened so quickly. Like, I wasn't expecting the message. The first message was like, "Yo, can you keep a secret?" And then, it went from there, really.
Wow, ever a pro is Panda there. Like, can you imagine if you said no and then just give it to Shift, and then it's like they're looking for a new
That's so
third.
good. Oh my god.
Okay, so the journey was playing on PS4, get really good, and I imagine at the time, who were the top 1v1 players that you were battling for at the top? Like, was this like 2018?
So again, PS4, like, I improved. Like, I have these spurts where I just kind of shoot up randomly. So on PS4, I didn't turn off VSync for years, and then so I think Virtuoso, I was on PS4 with Vert, I was playing a lot with him, and he turned VSync off, and he improved really quickly. So he told me to to turn it off. And we went up to like 1802s, which at the time was really good. Then I told Joreuz to turn it off, and he improved quickly. Vert moved to PC, and I was getting to the top of ones, and it was I was kind of like top 10, I think, and it was Monkey Moon at the top, and then O'Khalid, and then they both moved to PC, and I think it was like 2019ish. I kind of went to the top of ones, and the only player that was no one was really near me. I was like 100 points ahead of everyone, because Joreuz had moved to PC at some point in 2019. I think it was like August maybe. The only player that was that may have gotten near me at some point was TRK, and he was like 100 points behind me. And yeah, no one really could catch up to me at that point on PS4. I was like 1550 MR, and the max, the number one in the world was 1600, I think, and the second best PS4 player was like 1380 or something. So it was like 130 points ahead or something. It was ridiculous, 170 points. And yeah, I was number one in everything on PS4 because everyone had moved. The only good players left was me, TRK, Ania, and Louis P. And that was about it, I think.
I'm shocked by, not even shocked really, just like how many people started on PS4 and how big it was then that like the game came out and was so huge then. But like going to then Dignitas, and then obviously recently we can then chat about the fact that Dignitas have now picked up Scrub, which is, like I said, it made my jaw hit the floor when I saw that news. I trust your Giga Brain. I'm going to get out of this. I trust you and Joreuz to know what you're doing, obviously. But what drew you guys to picking up Scrub? Was it your decision? Because obviously then Verge and Panda are now both gone from the team. Was it something that happened before they left? Like, what was the kind of process? With how much you can say.
Yeah.
Feel free to literally just say what role you had in it.
Yeah, no, I mean, they wouldn't really mind me saying. Panda, like, it worked well when it was good. We had that kind of month in December where we were genuinely playing like the best team in Europe, and no one could touch it.
Yeah,
it
the perfect
like
sweep.
Yeah, perfect sweeps here and there, 4-0. It was crazy. And we were, like I said, we were really good when we were really good, and unfortunately we were quite bad when we were bad, So the consistency wasn't there, and we all agreed, or like me, Joreuz, and my manager, like very good player. He's a sick player, obviously, we all know this. The play styles just didn't match, and that's it. And we've all ended on really good terms, So we decided that him and Verge could go, and they'd keep me and Joreuz, and we'd build a team around us. Joreuz was kind of he always agrees with me. He wasn't really on a break, but he wasn't really playing too much, and he still isn't because it's off season, which is fair enough. So it was mainly me making all the decisions. So we tried out a lot of players where we wanted a team where it was, we all had kind of the individual talent to make these one-on-one plays and whatnot, and work around each other, but also had a really good mindset to improve. So I'm not saying we had that Panda's like great mindset, but with Scrub, he's obviously got the individual talent, which me and Joreuz saw, and he's also got a really good mindset because obviously he's a world champ. He's always wanting to improve. So yeah, I was kind of the main one, like having the conversations with our manager and figuring out what to do next, where to go next. Joreuz he was sitting back a little bit, but I obviously always went through him. I didn't really make any decisions without talking to him. But
that's a lot of responsibility, right? Like coming from literally about less than a year ago saying, hi, do you want to join Dignitas? To then making the decision to, like essentially, making the decisions at the top, running it through Joreuz, but he sounds fucking useless, to be honest. And just like, that's a lot of responsibility to then be doing on top of everything else. Like, did it kind of get to a point where you're thinking, okay, maybe I'll just kind of take a bit more of a step back? Was it always, no, I want to make this team the best team we possibly can?
I like a leadership role. I'm quite, I'd say I'm quite naturally good at it. So I'm willing to take all the responsibility that I can get, really. Not to say that I'm going to be like overpowering and make all the decisions. That's not really what a leader does, but I kind of like that role, and it kind of just like fell into my hands really, and when obviously Virgin Panda kind of got removed or left or whatever, you know, it kind of came onto me, and you know, I enjoyed doing it. You know, it's good.
How long did it take you to sort of go with Scrub then? Because again, you don't have to say anything you don't want to, but I'm presuming there were other people that tried. I imagine this process is 10 people try, you decide between 2, however it works. Was it an instant rapport with Scrub, or did it take a few scrims to get there?
So it's a bit weird. We were I don't really mind saying, because so we were scrimming. We scrimmed with we were scrimming with 2 players. We had 3 primary suspects. What was I saying? Primary targets.
3 people that could wear the shoe, as it were.
Yeah.
Three primary targets. So we started trying that with 2 of them. We didn't try it with a third because we couldn't end up doing it. But we tried that with 2 of them. It was going really well with both of them. We wanted to move on with 1 player. He went to another team because we were playing ridiculously well with them, and I guess the other team were playing well with them too. So he went with them, and then we were playing really well with our second guy as well, and we were going to sign him, and then it was a little bit of a mess that wasn't in our hands. Everyone in both parties were happy to agree, but something outside couldn't work. So couldn't get that guy. He's with a different team, and we had to look at other options. So Scrub off season moved ridiculously fast. It was strange. It shouldn't. I'm going on a bit of a tangent, but I think there'll be some teams that have locked in, which will change still. I think that will definitely happen. Off season, it went too quickly for teams to, especially after the first split. If the format of RCS season 11 is the same and there's a trade window after the first split, I think so many teams will change because everyone rushed into it like mad. Anyway, so going back to it, we had to look at our other options. So we had Scrub and a couple of other people. So we tried out with Scrub and it instantly clicked. To be honest, most of our tryouts went really well. We didn't really do bad with anyone. But Scrub, when we were doing really well in scrims. It was good vibes in the comms and whatnot. And it was about, I think we did about 6, 7, 8 scrims, and then we were like, yeah, let's lock this in, because it was going too well, and I haven't really looked back.
So recently, after Just Win, the Johnny Boy tournament that happened, it was best of ones the entire way through. Brilliant format. I loved watching it. And Johnny interviewed Joreuz after he beat Oski in the finals and said, "Oh, so you've picked up Scrub? Like, anything to say about that?" And Joreuz said, "We were out of options." It seems much more true now. I thought that was a big joke, but no. So there are a lot of people then that were tried out to be on Dig, and obviously end up going with Scrub. But were there any teams that were, and again, we'd have to keep prefacing this with, feel free to not answer. Like, I imagine that yourself and Joreuz as well had options to try out with other teams, of course, because you are up there as like some of the best players in Europe as well. What basically made you go for Dignitas over these potential scrims that then might have happened elsewhere? Like, why Dignitas?
Let me think. What can I say? No, me and Joreuz got on really well. Like that. The bottom line is me and Joreuz wanted to stick. It was we're extremely good friends, have been for years, and we do play really well together. We've got such a good understanding of each other at this point that it would be quite, I think, premature to kind of move on at this point. We've not played with each other we've only played with each other for like 6 months really, or properly. So I think it was a bit too early to kind of call it quits, and we want to test it and see if we can really make it work to what we see we can, if that makes sense. And Dig is a great org. They do a lot for me, so kind of just worked out and just sticking. So, yeah.
Are you going to be making much content with Scrub, do you think? Because obviously I know that you're desperate to get Joreuz involved as well. Will we ever get a YouTube series of the 3 of you just destroying people?
Probably not a series.
Okay. The occasional video.
That's down to me. Maybe a video. I don't like playing rank 3s. I think it's terrible. Maybe a video, though.
I know that a lot of people don't.
It's because 2v2 is the best game mode, isn't it, mate?
No.
Fuck, I was so close.
It's the best ranked game mode. It's the best ranked game mode, but
That's
not,
fair.
not the best mode.
I can take that. Okay, that's fine. So obviously we're looking forward now to RLCS season 11, season XI, whatever it's gonna be called.
Which we can say we genuinely don't know, so
Yeah.
we don't have to worry about
Don't worry.
leads.
I thought you were gonna make an eye joke at me, but no, I thought I was gonna
XI.
come in there
Oh, 'cause you do have
XI, like my
God,
face.
Christ, you are paranoid, mate. You can
I
say
am
the word
paranoid.
I, or the letter I, or have a lazy eye, without me mentioning the fact that you have indeed objectively got a lazy
A
left
birth
eye.
defect, yeah.
Yeah.
But now we're looking forward to season 11 and Dignitas being yourself, Joreuz, and Scrub. And season 10 didn't necessarily go to plan. Obviously, them finishing 7th overall, which I looked at, and I thought it was actually around like the 9th mark. I don't know why I thought
It was
that. But
8th.
it was 8th in the end, was it? God, Wikipedia's lied to me.
Is it?
No,
What the hell,
you're just
Wikipedia?
blind, I think.
Am I actually blind?
Hey,
Yeah,
that
it
Jack's
was
making
8.
eye jokes.
Oh,
Brilliant.
how dare you? What? No, it said that because Giants was not green. This is what I'm confused about, because Giants wasn't green because, like, for whatever reason.
Was this not before the end of
Maybe
the
it was
major,
joint.
when the teams couldn't go into the top 6?
I
and
looked
that's why they
on
weren't green, even though they were
RLCSX
higher?
rankings at the end, and it said 7,
It
but
was 8.
it was 8. Jack,
Yeah.
My
Giant-
money's on
Giants
Jack
finished
here,
above.
to be
Giants
honest.
finished above. Do you want me to look right now?
I don't care that this is going to mess up this this thing
Oh,
on
for
the screen.
goodness sake. I'm not looking myself. I'm looking at the tiny little preview window, the 30% of the screen that we can see.
RLCSX rankings.
overview.
Dignitas 7.
Oh, what?
Dignitas.
Oh!
Wait,
Hang
what?
on.
That's so weird.
Look, Dignitas
shit.
Wait, so
7.
no. Who's missing? So who's missing?
Dignitas 7.
A giant.
Wait, hang on. Who's no?
But
I'm
yeah,
so
but then
confused,
Giants
though.
aren't greened. That's what confused me.
Yeah, so who's missing out of those teams? Because there's only 5 teams there. Whereas obviously
BDS
6
Vitality
maybe.
Yeah.
Guild, Solary Queso.
Oh, top blokes.
Top
Wait,
blokes.
so top blokes
Why
has
are
just
they
been removed.
Oh yeah, why are top blokes there?
Top blokes have just been removed from the rankings.
Why?
Is
Okay,
that a
fair
leak?
enough. Okay, so there we go. So I wasn't wrong, but I
You
was
weren't
wrong because Wikipedia is wrong.
It's a
Yeah.
draw.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll take a draw with Jack. That's fine by me. Okay, right now
That's
I can
so
go back
weird.
to the
I guess it's
document.
from. I guess it's because they rebranded to Semper.
Yeah,
It must be
maybe.
some sort of glitch or a bug or something.
Something.
But yeah, no, the question that Stumpy was asking, or I think was going to ask, was the goals and aims for season 11. The tweet said, this is a world championship winning team.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, any pro will always say, yes, we want to win the world championship. What truly would constitute to you a successful season? If we assume at the end of it that there will be a world, for argument's sake, would qualifying for it, would you take that if offered now, and then maybe not do too well there if offered?
Yeah, I mean, I've always. Yeah, I
It's
want
like getting a conditional offer at uni.
Yeah.
Would you take the unconditional now and then fail RE? Like
You should
I want to qualify for
Gamble.
Worlds at least.
okay.
I know this roster should do better than the last one, just because I feel like we will gel a bit better. Not to say it's better on paper, it's just we will gel, I think, a lot better. So I'd be quite disappointed if we got any less than 8th, since that's where we finished in the last split with Panda. Last season was Panda, sorry. So I'd want at least better than 8th. Qualifying for Worlds would be winning Worlds would be ideal. But qualifying for Worlds is kind of the minimum that I want. Looking with how we're playing, we should be able to do it. But it's just about keeping that consistency up throughout the season and carrying on improving, because you can't just stay stagnant, you know. So qualifying for Worlds, we obviously want to win it, but you've got to be realistic. Can we win it? Yes. Will we win it? Who knows? Like, probably not. It's more likely that we won't than we will. And that's just being realistic, because there's 20 other good teams in Europe. So, but I'd want a top 4. I think top 4 sounds kind of cool.
Yeah. I mean, every team at this point is essentially looking at what happened in Season X, and as far as I can think, sort of to get in the mindset of a pro, it would be, can we beat BDS? Are we BDS beaters? Are we Vitality beaters even, obviously seeing as how Champs Week went? Was that a big focus when you were looking at these players you were trying out, thinking, could this team beat BDS/Vitality in particular? Or was it just how you felt with that player at the time?
It's how you feel. You can't kind of set, teams that you put a target on. You can't really do that. You've got to just look at how you play. Because if you set a team that you want to be better than, if you get to that point where you're better than them, you become comfortable, and when you become comfortable, that's when you have like the highest chance to fail. So you can't really set like just one target. You've got to just go off how you feel, and if you're feeling really good, then you're going to be better than that team anyway, you know. So that's how that's how we went by it anyway, or went through it anyway.
How different are things? I appreciate we're just chucking questions at you. It's because the answers are fascinating, and it's been a long time since we've really dug into the brain of any pro player, especially one that, you know, is as smart as you are. So apologies that we are just lobbing questions at you.
No, I enjoy talking.
Cool. Okay. Okay. My next question. How different? I don't know how much, you know, proper scrimming and proper training sessions you've had, because it's the off season and everything. But since Verge has left, has there been a much of a shift? Not for better or for worse. You know, you don't have to say, oh, it's better now or worse now or whatever. But is there any change in training style? Because Dignitas is famed for having quite a regimented and disciplined approach to Rocket League.
Yeah. So I want to start off with Verge. Verge is a sick coach. Like especially
we
for
love
me.
him. We've had him on. I adore the man.
He's world class.
So the thing is with coaches is that you can be the best coach in the world, but to one player you'll be their worst coach. So coaches are very subject to the player, and that's in anything, sport in particular. Like when you pick out let's say like if I was going to go to the US to play a sport, the main thing that you would choose to go to, like the main factor for which college you would choose to play at is the coach. You have to have a really good relationship with the coach, and I had that with Verge, I feel like. So we got on really well, and I did enjoy his kind of way of thinking and approach to improvement. So he was really good, and yeah, it was quite strict in the sense that you had a schedule, and we did a lot of replay reviews, stuff like that. With this team, spoilers, we won't have a coach for the start. I said I want, because I know whoever we picked up, it would be a different play style. It won't be the passing play style that everyone.
I was going to ask that
as
well. Yeah, I was wondering that.
We both love just in any game mode. We've always said the best goals are team play goals. Like someone can score 9 flip resets, I do not care. If it was the best goal from Season X was the Space Station Gaming. Little passes in the box to a goal. I don't care about Justin.
They look the best.
Mate.
They look the best. Yeah. The thing is with passing is that it's very good, but I think everyone has the wrong kind of depiction of what it should look like. So I think with that old team, it's a bit too risky. Whereas BDS is a team that have passing down to perfection, really, where they pass in defense the most, and in offense they only pass when they create the space from solo plays, I feel like. So they'll be passing. Obviously, we're not just going to not pass, but it won't be the kind of Dignitas which. You know, I feel like in this team, the version of me, Joreuz and Panda, it was almost a little bit forced at times, and that's not down to Panda and Verge. I mean, we said it down to me and Joreuz. Who knows?
Yeah. So, we said as much when we were like analysing it. Of like sometimes we said it for other teams as well, to be fair, but it was sometimes the passes are too forced. It's passing where you feel like you should pass, not that it was the best option to do that. Like someone was there and you almost felt obligated to do so. And we've had that as well. Just like everyone would have had that in their ranked gameplay where you see, where someone calls middle and you pass it middle and you're like, actually, it would have been better if I did X, Y, Z, whatever it was. So
yeah, exactly. And again, I said it before, but it might not be down to Panja and Verge. It may have been down to me and Joreuz. We might have been the ones forcing it. Who knows? But going back to the point about so we won't have a coach. I literally said I want to, because we brought in a really well trained psychologist, or like a really well kind of accomplished psychologist. He's worked with like top athletes, so he'll be very useful to us. I said to my manager, I want this team to kind of work with him mainly, and forget about a coach, because I feel like in Rocket League, a coach isn't as needed as in games such as CSGO, because there's not as many set pieces. It's a more free-flowing game, which relies on kind of like individual situations, and every situation is different. So I don't think a coach is as needed. I think they'll get to a point where we will hit a wall, where we will like become stagnant or have a little dip, and that's when we bring in a coach. So I'm not saying we won't ever have a coach. I think it's best to work without one for the time being, so we can mold into a play style which we feel comfortable with, not like where the coach feels comfortable with.
That is such a good way to approach a season, because you have a baked-in plan B. It is part of the plan that at some point there will be a speed block in the road. So that means that if and when, and it happens to every team, that does happen to you guys, there will be literally zero panics. It's like, okay, this was meant to happen. Now we bring somebody in and give us that second wind, and hopefully like propel yourself even further than before. So you're coming into the season with a good mindset, it seems.
Yeah, I mean, like you can't not plan for that. It's all well and good me saying, yeah, we're just gonna start winning everything and we're never gonna lose a series. I hope that happens, but it's not gonna happen. So, and a coach is always good to have, because it's an outside opinion. I think that's the biggest thing, is that when you're playing, you don't get the full kind of picture of what you're doing, if you're doing the right plays or the wrong plays. It's an outside point of view which you need, and sometimes it's a mentality thing. But like I said, with a psychologist, we'll be working with him a lot more in a we've not started yet because it's a little too early, I feel like, because off season I think it's going to be quite long. I think if the season was anytime soon, Silence would have at least told the players. So yeah, I don't think it's anytime soon. So we're not gonna really start scrimming really hard. Like we scrim at the moment, but we don't. Like if let's say a team cancels, or if we can only find one scrim for a day, we're not gonna rush to find another one, because we don't need to. The same with our psychologists. We're not gonna really rush to start working with them just yet. It'll be close to the season start, and I think it'll benefit us a lot, since I in my opinion, confidence is the biggest thing to succeed in this game, especially.
Well, and downtime is so important as well. Like, I mean, sort of saying you're taking time off, that's not. I think a lot of people kind of listening will think, well, wait, so you're not doing like your job, as it were, like you're not playing Rocket League all day, but that downtime, me and Cole have had it as well, where like we took, I think it ends up being like 3 weeks or 4 weeks like away from streaming, away from doing stuff, because at the end of RLCS, from especially the player's point of view, that has been the culmination of the last 10 months, and then you need to have time for your brain to just go to mush just a little bit, mush it up slightly, be a little bit of head porridge, do nothing for a while, and then you can start to fire the synapses back up. So
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I fully agree with that.
I mean, some teams start scrimming. Like BGS are only starting on the 16th. They're going to be starting scrimming again. Other top teams, I think, Vitality aren't scrimming at the moment. SubPar aren't scrimming at the moment. So yeah, like a lot of teams are on break, and it's definitely needed, because RCS towards the end, and in the last split it was mental. I think Silnix did such a good job with RCSX as a whole, going into a completely new format with so many new players and teams. They should have had zero expectations, and they completely smashed it out of the park. Really, they did such a good job.
I'm so happy to hear you say that. And
I was one of the main ones which was kind of complaining about the scheduling. But when you have so many positives and a few negatives, the negatives will always come through to your mind at first, because that's just how we are as humans, really. We always see the negatives before we see the positives. So that's the only reason. And the main issue was just that there was too much at times in the last split. It was also not even Silex's fault. Like I had, like, it just hit to a point where I had like 3 10,000 word like essays in for like 3 weeks, and also at the time like 3 regionals at the same time. It was mental.
Oh my god.
Wait, why are you doing 10,000 word essays at 17?
Yeah, so
or are you a genius?
I bet you're a genius. What is with these Rocket League
I
pros?
bet you're a dickhead genius.
Stupid,
and you're annoyingly fucking
rocket
clever.
Scientist, good head.
No.
Piece of shit, talented, articulate wanker.
Oh, I play tennis. I'm Jack.
Oh, I've got a dissertation due in. Piss off. Shut up.
No, the thing is, it's not even like I just do a lot. So it's not even. I don't have to do 10k words, but I always end up just doing it because.
Was it
the
just
teacher asked for
schoolwork?
1,000, and you're like, here's
schoolwork,
10,000. Yeah, read this.
Yeah, it's usually
Read this, bitch.
it's usually like they want like 5 to 8, but sometimes it goes a little bit over. I say 10. You know, it sounds a little bit more.
Yeah, that's fair.
Dissertation-y, yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. 3 of them. God. Oh my God. I wrote one.
Yeah, it was crazy.
I wrote one 10,000 word dissertation once in my life, and that is more than enough for me. It took many months. So doing 3 of them around regionals as well, where when regionals were done, I, every single time in the green room, said, I'm done for the day. I'm going to go watch the rest of it in my pants on the sofa. But then you were off, then writing some essays.
That's what I mean. That's why I kind of, I literally got to a point where I was genuinely going insane. Like, my mind was going absolutely insane from the amount of times I had to get home from school and then just kind of rush into scrims and then figure out a time to eat and then to finish work and, like, stay up until, like, 12 or 1 to get a few thousand words done. And my school has a clever idea of, oh, actually, we forgot to tell you, but you've got another 10,000 words in for next Wednesday. And then Sarnix is like, we're not going to give you a week off. There's a regional next weekend as well. You've just finished this weekend. Like it got a lot. It got to a lot.
In all seriousness, you say it got a lot with all the pressure of the fact that you're representing one of the larger orgs in Rocket League in Dignitas, and the fact that because you are at the top in any capacity, whether it's professional Rocket League, professional football, professional knitting, there'll be pressure on what you do from the people watching on.
I bet Jack is a professional knitter as well, by the way.
But yeah, I just want to say, like, how much did that impact you? That much pressure?
I like pressure. I couldn't live a life where I don't get how people just live life with no kind of goals. I couldn't. And I've always had like something I was very focused in, like a competitive thing from the age of like 6 really. So I couldn't really live without that. And so it's not too bad. I like being busy. I like just having my days filled with stuff that I have to do. So and I'm not, it's a lot of pressure, but the positives really, really outweigh the negatives in all aspects really. So it's not as bad as sometimes I can make it out to be, because it sometimes just gets a lot, and you just have to say like, okay, this is mental. Yeah. But it is good. I don't regret it.
It's also vital to be able to say, okay, this is too much. Like, I mean,
yeah, and that's what I did. Yeah.
Yeah. So like, I sort of keep kind of likening it to what me and Carl have done before, but we've said like multiple times, yeah, this is too much. Like we've taken on a bit much. So let's just sharing that load with somebody and saying, okay, this is too much for me right now. What can I do? And like sharing it with our partner, sharing it with each other, like kind of trying to speak out of that mindset and say, right, how can I break this up into sections to make it much more manageable? It's a very vital thing to do. And I can happily say that I was not nearly as well-rounded as you are at 17 years old. I was literally a piece of shit. So well done for being better than... I'm going to say better than Cole as well. I didn't know him then, but I reckon he was a piece of shit as well.
Yeah, no, to be fair, I'd started losing weight by 17. It was mainly 16 where I spent a couple of summers eating Doritos and playing Call of Duty 4.
Back when Jack was 6.
Yeah, 10 years. There's always a 10-year gap between us. The whole decade of...
Like I'm saying this, but me and Jack are literally 9 years apart. Like, it's not actually that...
That's all right, I'm the old man in here. I get that. I am the wise old gentleman that can give you both life lessons.
Well,
from my mid-20s.
Should we have a look at some wise old gentlemen on Twitter and see what questions they have for ApparentlyJack?
Yes.
Yeah, let's do that. So we asked everybody on Twitter, on @SubPar but in HD, hey, we're going to be chatting to Jack. I got a very nice screenshot of you for the post as well, Jack. Did you like it? Did you like the little screenshot?
Oh yeah, I did. Yeah, that was good.
Yeah, I went to your...
You really caught my my features there.
Yeah, that's what I thought. It was from your face cam on one video, and I did it on stream, and people said, great picture. Really good picture, that. So everybody sent in some very good questions. I was going through these, and I was saying to myself, oh, great question, actually. I really like that. We might have gone through some of these already, but we'll read them anyway, just for a bit of a TLDR. The first question from our Twitter is from @Butterbean. If you would play in North America, what players would you like to form a team with?
That is a good question.
Ooh,
Pretend it's PE. They're all lined up.
Yeah.
Turbo Pulse is in goal, right? you can pick anyone.
Yeah. They're all trying to look at your eye, like Justin's there, sort of going, pick me first.
Yeah. I'm your mate. John, we've got geography together. Yeah.
I think it has to be Garrett. Garrett has to be one.
To be.
Yeah. I don't know how he's stayed so good at this long. It's crazy. Garrett and
Squishy's trying to catch your eye.
I would say ScrubKilla because he's just like the second, if not the first best player in the world. But I think Garrett and Justin have such a good kind of pairing and synergy that I'd have to go with them really.
So kick Squishy out, get Jack.
I was thinking I was going for Squishy just to clickbait him for content.
Oh, your clickbait. Right, one video just to quickly interrupt it was when I clicked on it because it said, "Oh, Khaled messaged me." Like on stream or when recording or something like that, Cole. It was a normal 1v1 video, and then at the end, Jack goes, "I got a DM from O'Khaled." Video ends. That was the entire Khaled get. It was ridiculous.
I don't think it was even ones. I think people were that disappointed. It was 2v2. I'm pretty sure. And it literally in the last game, he just messaged me 3 times. I think he was like asking. I can't remember. Oh no, he was saying like. Yeah, because we scrimmed them one time, and he was like, "Oh, you're so good at threes. Like, I don't know how, like, you're so good at threes." And he just messaged me. I was like, "Oh yeah, there we go. Kai's popped up in this video. I use that for the title and thumbnail."
Unbelievable. And also, Jack did a shift tab to look at the messages, but he's got it hidden, so you couldn't even see the messages.
I felt like you can get away with it because, as I said earlier, you do get straight into the video. Do you know what I mean? There's no bullshit in an ApparentlyJack video. So if all the bullshit is in the title, that's 300% of the bullshit that most people have, but it's all in one place, so it can be.
It got me completely. I was lured in, and I felt tricked.
Yeah, people. I mean, like people just go like, "Oh, I can't believe you're only doing it for the views." I'm like, what else do you do YouTube for? Like, what?
Yes.
Damn it! Like I really wish like this video got 50k views. I don't know. I wish it got 5. I really wish it got 5.
5 really good, high quality views.
I should have. I should just put a blank, like I put a dot as the title and black thumbnail. Like I don't know what I'm doing.
I still have a memory from when I was about 11 and we were playing football, right? And I was really good at football at 11, yeah. And
Jack
we were about
was
to
1
stop
at this point.
When you were a wee fetus, I was an 11-year-old bombing about the football pitch, bossing the midfield. And I don't know why this sticks in my mind, but it always had, where we were about to stop, and I said, "Oh, let's play for a few more minutes." And someone said, I don't know who it was, some kid said, "You only want to play a bit more because you want to score again." And I was like, yeah.
Yeah, people.
I guess that is why. People hate it. People get annoyed when people are working harder and doing well for themselves. It is intrinsic. That's why I bring up that silly story, because I've had, obviously scaled down, the same, like,
it's almost as if I do YouTube to make a bigger brand for myself. It's almost as if I do that.
Oh, so funny.
It's crazy. People actually get annoyed at it for that, but
amazing. That O'Khaled one was shameless though, and I'm happy you admit it.
It was pretty bad. I did message my editor. I was like, "Oh, I'm about to scam 20,000."
It was funny. I did find it funny. It was good.
He was like, "Oh, you're a genius." I was like, "I know, I know, mate."
So to summarise, your NA team would be Justin and Garrett, or Garrett and first?
No, Justin and Garrett.
Okay.
Garrett is also like, I could easily put him as like the best player in NA, if not the world at times. He's easily top 5, top 3 NA for me. And his mentality, I feel like, is very similar to mine. It kind of fits mine. And I think he's just really nice. Like, obviously, I've only talked to him like a little bit, like really not that much. And I've just seen him talking to other people. He seems like quite down to earth, for considering he's probably like one of the most accomplished players in the world. He's very down to earth and he's really nice. And Justin doesn't seem to have too many mentality issues, in the sense that he's not a bad teammate. He might have mentality issues in terms of like sometimes being a little bit burnt out or
himself, with Justin,
that's really not an issue. It only becomes an issue when you transfer that anger to your teammates, and I don't think either of those guys have that, which is what I look for in teammates. So those two would be ideal.
So maybe we've been too nice to you throughout this podcast. So this next question is designed to bring you down a peg or two, from one of our regular viewers at Mute Vickers. Is it embarrassing having worse hair than Scrub?
Unbelievable! That is an absolute. That is a joke. Did you guys see? Did you guys see the screenshot that I put on my Twitter?
Yes, every teenage boy has the same haircut.
I mean, that's a lie.
That's
And
not
two,
a lie.
that is-
Everyone
that is-
gets the like shaved sides, not fully shaved, but like shaved a bit. Number 3 sides. There you go. You've got them, and then with longer on top and a bit floppy.
Yeah,
Every boy has it.
Yeah, short back and sides.
ScrubKilla looks so
yeah.
Scottish in that screenshot. Like, if I think of Scotland, I'm going to put a screenshot in our doc, right? Imagine you're in Scotland and you go out and everybody just looks like that.
You're putting it right in the middle.
Yeah, big time.
I love
There
it.
you go. There it is.
Like, how can you say, like, it's wonky, mate? It's wonky. I don't know, mate. Like, I feel bad for him at this point. I feel bad for him. I don't know, like genuinely. I was saying, like, the reason this got brought up, I was like, yeah, I'm having a trim in like 5 minutes. It was after school, so I gotta go quickly. And then we just got onto the topic of who has the best haircut, and Scrub turned on his camera, and I was like, mate, he was like gassing it up. He was like, nah, no way, you've got a better man. He turns his camera on, and I just see that, and I'm just like, oh, mate, I have no idea. I don't know what he asked for when he walked in, but
Oh god! Wow. Well,
Hopefully it grows, hopefully
I
it grows.
personally like it, ScrubKilla. I
Do
think
you
it's
now?
great.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it makes my hair look better.
yeah.
From @TechSupportage, do you think you will hit 1900 MMR? I presume in ones.
Yeah. Not this season.
Yeah.
No,
What
no,
are you
no,
at?
no.
What's your peak? It was like
1875. 1875. Yeah.
And the previous world record from Khaled was 1815 or something.
1816. Yeah.
1816.
How
He
quickly
he
does
has
the MMR
broke
go
that.
up at that point? Is it like is it 1 MMR per match, or is it less than that? 'Cause I remember back in the day, Kronovi getting +0 when
Yeah.
he was
Some
new to this.
games, it depends who I play. Obviously, some games I'll get plus like 0.6 MMR, and then other games, a good game is 3 MMR. And then if I play cards and beat him, I might get like 5 or 6 at that point. I did see yesterday. I played a couple of ones games, and I lost one. And so I dropped like, I think I lost like 18 points for it. I saw Kaz he's overtaken me by 1 MMR. He's on 1838. I'm at 1837. So I think he's gonna snatch the end of the season. And the best part about it is, people think I get really annoyed at it when people overtake me in ones, but like it just means that I can overtake them and clickbait the video to
That's
their
the
max
thing.
again. And people,
So that's why you threw.
someone
Get -18.
exactly, yeah. And like people really think that I really get annoyed at it, but I want people to overtake me. Well, I'd like to keep the number 1 spot, but there's only so long that I can clickbait with rank 1 in my titles. I can't, I can't do it every
There was a
video.
streak of like a week where you said like new world record, and it was for every single video
It was just
that week.
every game I won, I was just like, yeah, that's a new world record. And I'm not lying. I'm just stretching the truth.
Being
a little bit.
creative with the truth.
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
what it's all about.
I kept thinking that it was a re-upload. Like every single time, I thought this is just the same video, and it was just no brand new video,
going.
brand new world record.
So actually,
Yeah.
that is the downside of people thinking that it is just a re-upload. So you've spotted
Yeah,
that
well,
everything's
well.
got its own sort of balance, and that's the balance.
Well, yeah. I mean, the it still gets good views, so
Just not Stumpy's view, and that's what matters.
just not.
No, I
Stumpy,
clearly
yeah,
watched it. Obviously, don't lie.
Why do you think that not many EU pros make YouTube videos or stream? From @BobbyFat95.
What a name. I think probably a little bit. It's a bit of like they're comfortable with what they're doing. You could call it laziness. I don't really call it laziness because it's just that it means that they're comfortable. But being comfortable is bad, in my opinion. And like if you're trying to reach a certain goal, being comfortable is the worst thing you can achieve.
Mm-hmm.
So being a little bit too comfortable with where they're at, because let's be honest, half the pros are literally like 15 to 23 years old, and they're making a lot of money for their age.
Mm-hmm.
And they take that kind of like, oh, I'm in a position that I shouldn't be in and earning a lot more money than I should be earning, so I'm now gonna stay here and be comfortable with it. But they also, I think half the pro scene doesn't realise. Do you ever get like those scam messages from like eBay, and it's just like or like some random
Have
like
you just got
posts
one
just-
now?
Yeah, it's just like the number. It's just some random number, and then it says eBay, like as if I'm gonna click on the link. Anyway, right. So
I've had on that to answer.
Yeah.
I've had an unbelievable number of scam things that say you've got a voicemail from me.
Yeah.
And it says it's missed. I probably get about 9 a day, like for the last couple of months.
Or like one from like it just says it's a random number like +4 like, and then it's just it just says post office : you have an unpaid
Yeah.
like,
I
delivery.
almost fell
Like,
for
what?
that one. I've
How?
got to be
How?
honest.
Really?
How?
Because it seems like something that might happen, where you might get a message from the post office. It's I ignored it for later, and then I saw that was a scam going about. I was like, oh yeah, I easily
my
could have
God.
got.
Yeah.
Easily
I had
could have
one
fallen for
Anyway,
from Morrison's
go
where
on.
it said that they couldn't deliver my shopping. And firstly, I don't shop at Morrison's. And secondly, everything was spelled wrong in the text, including Morrison's. They used an umlaut over the O. And I was
Morrison's.
like, that's not how you spell Morrison's.
The saddest part is that for them to carry on doing it means that people are actually falling for it. So
Yeah.
unlucky. Anyway, so we were talking about
Why
EU
why are
pros,
people
yeah, I
lazy?
think I also think EU pros, they don't realise the amount of kind of, how good it is, how good YouTube is. I'm not going to lie, it's extremely good for exposure in terms of brand, and just for, if you want to make money, it is incredible for that. So at the end of the day, you're getting both, both best worlds, So I think they really don't understand. They're like, oh, it's too much effort. I'm like, mate, I genuinely, I like, we can all sit here and pretend that I put loads of effort into my YouTube, and I make sure I do it well, but all I do is I queue ranked. I press a key on my keyboard to start recording. I play ranked for 3 games, and I send that to my editor, and I think of a thumbnail in my head and give it to my thumbnail artist, and he creates it for me. I do the least out of all.
And
the
you
people
always
I
make
work
sure
with.
that your audio is ticked on OBS as well, right?
my
Every
days,
time.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
Your one job.
Tell you what though,
Yeah.
I do genuinely find it amazing that when, say, there's something that has been recorded that doesn't have any audio on it, you will just record your audio track while watching it and basically dub over the top and say your decision making at the time. Because if I was in that position, there is no fucking way that I would bother. Like, straight up, there's no way that I would bother. And Cole, I know that's probably the same for like the both of us, realistically. Like, okay, well, there goes our inspiration to do that video. We'll do another one at some point.
We have been guilty of something going slightly wrong, and us thinking, well, we'll
That's
just
a good
stream
out.
for the next week. Yeah,
I mean,
exactly. It's
no,
such a good out.
The thing is, this has happened to me twice now, so I have done that. Like so I did that with one video where it was just a twos video where I was like, I'm just gonna scrap it. But the videos that I had like in the past week where it was good, they were good videos. And I was like, I can't let this like content gameplay go to waste.
Because you're in form, you're hitting your shots, you're feeling
Yeah,
it.
I can't remember what the videos were. It was a tournament.
One was in a tournament, yeah.
They were both in the same
okay.
tournament. It was on the same night, and they were both really good games. So I was like, you know what, I have to do it. But yeah, so yeah, going back to the pros thing, I think they don't realise how easy it is. Once it's hard to start and it's hard to get a schedule going, but now I'm in a schedule. It's just easy to kind of, I'm gonna record. I need to at this time. It's like 9 o'clock, and now I need to send my thumbnail artist the thumbnail design for tomorrow. I need to send my video to Caleb, like my editor, and I need to tell him what to do if there is anything that I need him to do, like especially. So you just get into a routine. It's easy, and they don't understand how much you can get out of it, and it's fun. I
love that.
The thing is, I'm a very kind of like analytical and like stats person. I love like stats and like anything that you can. It's unpredictable, but it also has some pattern. So that's YouTube kind of down to a T, really. Like, I mean, to be honest, YouTube, it's a bit weird. Like, you think one video will do great and it does terribly. You think a video will do terribly, it does great. For some
We've
reason.
been there, yep.
Yeah, but at the same time, there is a pattern to it in some sense. I like trying to figure it out because they don't tell you what that is. So it's always fun, learning new patterns and new kind of sequences to the algorithm and trying to do well with that. And yeah, it's crazy, man. Like,
It's
YouTube
interesting to
is
see the other
genuinely
side of
crazy.
that, Cole, where me and you would see that a video that we really like hasn't done well, and that completely disheartens us, and we're like, no, fuck you, YouTube, we're going to stream for a bit. But Jack's like, okay, I want to figure out why that was and how I can make it better.
To be fair, our YouTube is so ravaged by time and inconsistency.
Ours is a battle-scarred dog.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. It doesn't care. You're not going to teach a 14-year-old dog to give you paw. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just have some food and enjoy yourself.
Die gracefully with the occasional podcast on there. That's all we can ask.
Yeah, YouTube is sick, man. I love it. It was the most annoying part of YouTube that I've had so far is I was going to start a series where it happened twice actually. I was going to start a 1v2 series, which I did eventually, but Scrub did it first. So his first few videos and his series got loads of views, and I was like, I should have started it sooner. Like I was genuinely thinking of it before.
I was going to ask when that's coming back, or is that just like off the table?
It's dead on the wall, mate.
Oh, I really like that.
The thing is, right, like it wasn't doing as well as my other videos, and I'd love to sit here and go like I'm all for the people. If they're really enjoying it, I'll carry on doing it, but if it's not getting the views, I'm not going to do it.
Even for me, Jack, even for me, you're a real jerk. I can't believe it.
But and another series which I was going to do, or a video in particular, was like analyzing Squishy, or like those pros in NA, because I know how well that would do, because people really want to see like.
I love seeing pros analyzing other
and then
pros
Chicago,
and trying to get into their decision.
Chicago did the analyzing Squishy, analyzing Garrett, analyzing Justin. I was like, these videos got 70k views. They did so well for him.
Well,
I don't know why I didn't just hop onto it. Like,
here's where you can go meta with it, Jack. What you can do is analyze Chicago's analysis. And then somebody else, Joreuz, can analyze your analysis of Chicago's analysis, and forwards we march.
Maybe. But yeah, no, YouTube is sick, so yeah. I think EU Pro should definitely hop on it a little bit more.
Well, the next question is from @WetJ132. What would the scoreline be in a 2 versus 1 against SubPar?
What rank are you guys?
I am GC1 in 2s. But I'm sick. I'm basically SSL.
Okay.
I am about as good as Stumpy in 2s, I would say, probably, depending on form.
We're both around C3, GC1, around there.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm just trying to think back to my 1v2 series. I think I got to GC, maybe. Maybe? I can't remember. Like, because it does actually get hard. Like, you know.
Yeah.
So,
shockingly, playing against 2 grand champs on one player, it does get
if
quite
anyone's
tough.
curious, that's the headline from this video.
On a good day, I could definitely beat you guys. I think, because I think I could have gotten to like GC.
Oh, I presume that you would beat us every time, if I'm being honest.
No. It's harder than you think, because it's like. Yeah, it is harder than you think. Like, I thought I was going to like breeze through, and I lost to like champ 2s. So. Yeah, on a good day, I'd win by like 2-3 goals.
Okay.
I'd also lose some games on that good day, though. It's not as easy as it looks, to be honest.
Well, maybe we need to try that out.
Yeah, I'd be very intrigued to try that.
Yeah.
Next up from @UndoZ says, Hobbies? Question mark, question mark, question mark.
3 question marks for such a casual question.
Hobbies!
Hobbies. God.
No, hobbies?
Yeah, so I used to play tennis like competitively for like since I was like 6 to the age of like, well, since until just before lockdown, and then I was starting to pick up loads of injuries, which meant it was getting a little bit like I was getting annoyed because I couldn't play at my best, which I was used to playing at, and it was also getting like, do I really want to be doing something almost every day? Which is hurting. It is genuinely hurting to run at this point. So I kind of stopped in lockdown, and lockdown killed it anyway.
Yeah.
Lockdown killed competitive sport for teens trying to make it. And it, all the tournaments stopped going on because you couldn't play, obviously. So it kind of came to like a natural end in terms of like competitive play, and I found something that I was really competitive anyway. Like I said earlier, I need a goal, I need something to be competitive in. So if I can substitute that for something that's worth my time, then I'm happy. So I was happy to do Rocket League instead, and I went back to tennis, and after the lockdown, just to play casually, and for exercise. And
did you find that frustrating to play it?
No, not at all. I was happy. It was good, because I do love the sport. So I went back, and then it was we had the second lockdown, which started in December, and so I stopped then, and the lockdown ended in March, and I just haven't played since really. So I might go back to it at some point. Honestly, like I've just been super busy, and I've just been enjoying what I do really way too much. So the answer to that question is I actually just don't have a hobby in because I'm actually like sat at my computer like so much doing a lot, like doing a lot of work. So like because I'm extremely motivated to make the most out of the kind of the opportunity I've been given. I'm not gonna, I'm not stupid. Like I don't get this opportunity. This doesn't happen. This doesn't happen at all. So I'm gonna make the most out of it, and it's for a few years, and then you've got to live. You've got to live like a life that no one else would live, so you can live a life that no one else can live in the future. If that makes sense. So you got to sacrifice some stuff to make it worthwhile, and that's what I'm doing at the moment. And there's I work like extremely hard, almost like I do a lot that which should burn me out really. I'm not stupid. I think I can't do this. I can only do this for like probably a couple more months where it'll catch up to me, because that just does happen. So there'll come a time where I need to tone it down a bit, because there's a certain amount of time where you kind of the human body can just like work and work and work without tiring out, and I've been doing that the past few months. So when I do get a few days off, like I go down to London, like I was there, I got back yesterday, and it's just the best time, because you don't even touch your phone, don't even think about anything, and it's easy to do. So that's really fun as well. But I genuinely just stay up here and do stuff all day at the moment. No hobbies really, but I'll probably go back to tennis in the near future and do that again.
Nice. We should have a knockabout, because Connor, you like your tennis. You played as like part of a club, right, for a bit.
I was quite good when I was about 12. So
okay, that's not bad.
Yeah,
Jack
I'm
was
sure we'd have a decent match, mate.
Yeah. That'd be fun. That could be the 2v1, because I also like tennis, but now I can't. I've not been able to play for years because my knee is awful, and I would just dislocate it.
How good can he be?
I was always not too bad at serving.
I know, because I remember when I was good at sports, and people used to say like, "Oh, I bet I'd be." That annoyed me so much. I'm like, "No, you're probably quite good for someone who doesn't play, but I'm actually really good." So I can see it in your face. You're thinking, "You wouldn't give me a game. I would destroy you." Don't worry, we know.
No, Jack. It would be competitive. I think We'd really have you running around. I think. Haha, don't just literally say haha, you psycho. Okay, next question from @Snoop_Jesus.
Great name.
Very good name. Is there any correlation?
This guy comes to my Twitch a lot.
What guy? Is there any correlation from being able to control the pace for one's game to controlling the pace of a pro 3's game?
Yeah, like there's one thing.
Oops.
When I'm in form in threes,
my headphones.
when I'm in form in threes, like I like when I'm confident and I'm just hitting everything and doing really well. I feel like the best player in the world, as in like the fastest, the most consistent. It is crazy. I had that in December when we were doing really well. Like I just felt like the best player in the world, and I think ones gives you such a different outlook on certain situations, and threes like it does really help. And I've not hit my peak anywhere near my peak in threes yet. I was saying this to. I can't remember who was saying this. It was a couple of months back. Like I can't wait for the day where I understand threes as much as I understand ones, because I have such a good understanding of ones where you could give me any situation and I'd probably be able to tell you the best or one of the best plays that you can make in that situation, the outcomes. Whereas I can't. I hold my hands up. I can't really do that in threes yet. But I'm still like a good player in it. I'm just not reached my peak. But it does help. Ones helps a lot in threes. There's certain situations where I come up against like threes mains or like players that don't really play ones, and I'm like, yeah, you kind of there was one play I did there where you couldn't really had no idea what was happening, or like I slowed the play down there where they think it's best to just barrel in, or I can just 50 it behind me for my teammate or something like that. So yeah, ones is I definitely recommend playing it. It gives you such a good base, and it also I feel like ones players just improve a lot quicker. They have a way quicker improvement rate than any other players in my opinion. So Yeah,
you're going to
I'm quite
inspire
glad I
me
played it.
to play ones again, and I'm going to quickly regret it. But I probably
Yeah.
will. I'll probably have one stream. I'm like, let's do some ones. Do about 4, and it's like, cool. I've learned ones.
Yeah,
Time
I've
to do
been-
some threes.
I've
I'm tired
been
of barreling.
Yeah, not good.
Final question is from @Geigs7, and he says, favorite part about teaming with Panda, and if I can also expand that to having Verge as a coach as well.
Favorite part about teaming with Panda, he's very, like, he taught me a lot about threes, really, and like, it's not a lie, he's extremely good at passing, like like the plays where he sees the passes is kind of the best that I've seen in anyone, really. So he taught me a lot in that regard, and he's also just very good mentality. Like, he always just wants to work hard. Even when he had his injury, it wasn't stopping him from watching replays of his own teammates to see what he can do better, what they can do better, whatnot. Excuse me. But with Verge as well, like I said earlier, I get along really well with him. And he like Panda has outstanding kind of viewpoint in threes and just very good analytical mind for threes, and they have way more experience than I have or Joreuz has, so we learned a lot from them, and it was definitely time well spent with those guys.
Well, that was, I think, one of the most informative podcasts we may have ever done, probably, and you'll be happy to hear this, since we chatted to Garrett G after they won season 8, where that was like, it was just basically a barrage of questions from me and Cole just chucked at one person. So well done on dealing with that. And also, yeah, thank you so much for coming on the Poddy C, number 67 as well. Gosh, that's so many. What are you going to do with the rest of your day now, Jack?
So I need to make sure I've got a lot on today. I've not actually kind of I can't really remember. I can't remember. I think I've got a tournament, like a content creator tournament, in like an hour or something. And then I've got scrims from 4 till 6, and I've got a ones tournament after that.
Is that the Fear tournament? Fear RL?
Yeah, it's the final for that.
Are you in the semis right now, or you're in the final?
No, I'm in the grand final now.
Okay, who are you waiting for to meet you?
Either Khaled or Drali, I think, if I'm not wrong.
Somebody asked on the Twitch chat earlier if you were ready for Khaled/Drali, so yeah, it'll be between.
No, I'm not, mate.
No.
I've been away for 3 days, so I've not really played Rocket League, so I'm going to be terrible, but I will.
Okay, well, if you guys want to see Jack playing that, then that was yesterday. Because this podcast goes out tomorrow, so that was yesterday. Watch the VOD, I imagine.
Congratulations or commiserations for your final against Drali/Khaled.
Yeah, you played really well, or terribly.
Yeah, thank you.
You're welcome, or not. Thank you very much, Jack, for joining us. It's been an absolute pleasure, mate. Obviously, you are doing your YouTube, and you stream on Twitch as well. Where can people find you if they don't already know?
Twitch.tv/ApparentlyJack_RL, and then on YouTube it's just ApparentlyJack.
Awesome. Well, thank you very much, mate.
Thank you.
Hopefully we can chat to you soon at whenever a LAN happens, when you qualify in 4th place. That's the dream place for Dignitas, I think.
God, no, don't say it to that.
That's the dream place. No, 4th. Otherwise, guys, if you want to trade or look at anything that's in the item shop at the moment without having to load up Rocket League, if you're in Sainsbury's with your nan and you just want to ignore her and you want to see if there's a lime green octane, go to rocket-league.com, give it a look, enter all their giveaways, enter their competitions, and make sure that you come back and listen to episode number 68 of the SubPar Poddy C when we return at some point or whatever. What an outro. See you later, team. Bye.
Bye.
Oh, we're waving. That's nice.
Yeah.
That's good.